friends. It's freezing again in Oklahoma, and my little girl has come down with some kind of sickness, so I'm making some vegetable noodle soup. And my medium-sized saucepan, I've got a couple tablespoons of olive oil. I don't have fresh vegetables, so I'm going to use about 2 cups of frozen mixed vegetables and dice up some onion over here. Excuse my dirty kitchen. This was about half an onion left over from what I cooked yesterday. We've got some PBS Kids singing in the background. There's always, seems like there's always the TV on in the background. I'm gonna finely chop this so that we don't have any crunchy onion in the vegetable soup. Oh, I can hear my oil popping a little bit, so I need to probably turn down my temperature. Okay, I turned the heat down on my pot. I'm gonna finish chopping this onion and get it in there to cook for a bit with the frozen vegetables. Okay, so here we go. I'm try and do this without getting popped by the oil. Okay, now I'm going to add in my frozen vegetables. Since they're frozen, it's going to take a little bit longer for them to cook. I'm also going to add in about a teaspoon of minced garlic. I'm going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of kosher salt. I'm going to add in about 1/8 teaspoon of black pepper. And I'm going to let these vegetables cook for probably 6 to 10 minutes until everything is nice and tender. So I've turned the heat up a bit. This is going to take much longer for me to get these veggies where they need to go since they were frozen. I've mixed up 4 cups of vegetable broth, and I'm going to mix up another 4 because I'm going to double this recipe. I use better than bouillon, and I've mentioned this before. I like this a lot, and you just keep it in your refrigerator after you open it. This small container says that it does 38 servings. 1 teaspoon is equal to 8 ounces. You season it with 8 ounces of water is equivalent to 1 bouillon cube. And then this recipe calls for pasta. So I'm going to use orzo. It says you can use orzo or broken up pieces of spaghetti. So once my vegetables are where they need to be, I'm going to add the pasta in and just toast it for a couple of minutes before I add in the broth. Okay, my vegetables look like they're tender, so I'm going to add in, this is 1/3 cup, I'm going to add in 2 of these until they're toasted about 2 minutes, and then I'm going to add in my vegetable broth. Okay, so I'm going to add the rest of my broth. So this makes it a total of 8 cups. And I'm going to bring this to a boil and let it cook for about 8 minutes until the pasta is done. You can see some of that better than bouillon that hasn't dissolved quite yet. Okay, it's been 8 minutes. It's at this time that you can add in any herbs that you like. And I'm going to be adding in 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. And then I'm gonna see what it tastes like and see if we need to add any salt and pepper. Okay, I tasted it and I do think it needs a little bit more salt and pepper, so I'm gonna add a little bit more and give it a stir and try tasting it again. Okay, so the soup is done. It's nice and steaming hot. You can see that there's little bits that look like chicken, and I had cooked up a recipe yesterday making corn soft tacos with the corn meatless pieces. I decided to add those just to each bowl, and it tastes delicious. So I highly recommend this recipe. I'll link it. It was a Food Network recipe. Obviously I had to make adjustments based on what I had. This soup would have been completely different had I had celery and fresh carrots. But overall, this is a great recipe. And I will say that while my daughter didn't enjoy it, but she's under the weather, everyone else really enjoyed it. So I consider that a win, considering she's sick. You know, I just am happy if she's getting liquids down. So enjoy this recipe, and I hope you guys stay warm.